the Vine, in conjunction with Areasports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at Areasports.net and WVYN.org. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. Good morning again, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselman. And boy, March Madness is here, Danny. And boy, there was some real surprises last night in basketball around Southern Illinois in 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A.
Yeah, you know, Friday Night Lights last night.
Boy, wasn't it ever. We saw a dandy of a basketball game that you and I did up at Vandalia between Teutopolis Wooden Shoes and Fairfield Mules. That was like two separate games wrapped up into one.
Yeah, you know, the Mules come out on fire, got a good lead. T-Town didn't panic. They kept chipping away at it. They come out and have a big third quarter, and the Mules had shooting woes in the second half, and the Wooden Shoes are headed to Carbondale on Tuesday night.
Yeah, they are, and they'll take on the Nashville Hornets, the number one ranked team in the state, as they held off Alton Marquette last night. We'll get into our scoreboard in a minute, but that should be another good matchup, although the Hornets really took care of the Wooden Shoes a couple weeks ago down at the Benton Shootout.
Yeah, you know, those teams got some recent history there, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of adjustments were made for that game.
Fairfield Mules close out their season at 32-3, a school record. What a storybook season they have had. We'll visit with Coach Scott McElravy to kind of summarize that whole thing and give him a chance to talk about his seniors and stuff, too, coming up here in just a little bit. Also on the show, we're going to have Sailor Schertz, the head coach of the Heron Tigers. What a story the Heron Tigers have been this year in 3A basketball. They win their first ever 3A regional last night, Danny, but man, they have just been on a roll since getting beat by Fairfield in the championship of the El Dorado Holiday Tournament.
I think they've won 20 in a row.
Something like that. So we'll talk to Sailor Schertz about that. And what a win for them last night, beating Belleville-Althoff by 2 points in the championship game. And from what I understand, they really had to come from behind, didn't they?
Yeah, you know, they trailed at halftime. They come back, went on a 9-0 run to start that third quarter, took the lead. And then it was tied at 35 at the end of three and ended up being a 60-58 game.
He has done a great job there. So we'll talk to Sailor Schertz about that. John Krause, head coach of the Oakville Rockets, going to join us on the show this morning. Oakville is rolling. They are going to another super sectional. Of course, they were in that state championship game last year. And are they going to go there again? Who knows? They beat Madison last night in the sectional championship, 57-50, so they are going up to the Big Bowl in Jacksonville now, and they're playing a team that we don't know much about, and maybe John does. We'll find out when we talk to him.
That northern route's been pretty good for Oakville.
It has. Since they moved in that direction, it's been working out real well for the Rockets. Sure has. Big game down in Gallatin County last night between Woodlawn and Cesar-Valliere. A lot of people looking forward to that one, and really it didn't turn out to be quite the close game that everybody thought it would be, as Cesar-Valliere really kind of dismantled Woodlawn last night, and Coach Shane Garner of Cesar-Valliere will join us, and everybody's wondering what did they do defensively to shut down McKay and Martin last night. We'll find out.
Well, they run three guys at McKay most of the night.
Kept rotating him, from what I understand.
Kept fresh legs on him. He got in a little bit of foul trouble, and then the inside guys kept Martin away from the basket.
And we'll talk to Wayne Hari, head coach of the Nashville Hornets. Again, he's got a chance to do something I don't think's ever been done, and that's win a state championship both as a girls coach and a boys coach, because now they are in the Elite Eight in the Super Sectional this Tuesday night down at Carbondale. They'll take on T-Town, and man, the Hornets are rolling, aren't they?
Yeah, you know, they've seen a little bit of everything thrown at them. At the end of the first quarter last night, it was 4-3, 15-7 at halftime. Winds up 37-22, you know.
Yeah. Are you saying Alton Marquette tried to slow it down on them?
We'll just play however you want to play. It doesn't make us any difference.
Wayno says, I've got a style for everything.
All you guys are doing is helping my defensive average.
You know, he thinks about all this stuff while he's on his John Deere. That's where he figures it all out.
That's right.
That's his secret.
That's how farmers think.
That's right. That's where he does his
most thinking. That's your most quiet time.
Absolutely. That's where he game plans, is on the tractor. We'll talk to Wayno about that. And if we have time, we're going to also see if we can squeeze in a little bit of time with Jack Bullock from A Baseline View. I'm going to send Jack a message here and see if we can squeeze him on, because he's seen a lot of basketball throughout the bottom part of the state this year in 1A and 2A and maybe some 3A. And so let him weigh in on that and see if we got time to squeeze him in this morning. All right, so Danny, if you want to run through the scores last night, we'll get Coach McAravy on the phone with us.
All right, at Gallatin County, it was Cesar 55, Woodlawn 39. At Alton Marquette, Moequa Central A&M come back. That was a game of runs. They take out Nokomis 63-57. At Oakville 57, Madison 50. At Vandalia, it was T-Town 55, Fairfield 47. At DuQuoin, Nashville 37, Alton Marquette 22. Up at Tolona Unity, Gibson City 58, Bloomington Central Catholic 53. In 3A last night, at Salem, Highland defeats Salem 59-39. At Breeze Central, East St. Louis just dismantled Breeze Mater Dei 86-45. That East St. Louis team is loaded. At Albany, Urbana made the trip to Albany. They defeated
our offense. He was disappointed that he didn't make a lot of his normal shots that he usually makes last night too, but super kid, wonderful to coach. And that's the thing with all these kids. They're just super as far as coaching and that sort of thing. Brian, I think on the way home, I think he ended up with 25 dunks this year.
Wow.
I mean, that's unbelievable for a 2A kid. Wonderful, wonderful kid. You can't find hardly a nicer kid around than Brian. Reese Lee, quiet, one of the best defensive guards I've ever coached. Just a gesture-type kid, very, very polite, great defensive player. And the other two came off the bench. Cody had some big games for us. Effingham game, he had a couple threes to bring us back in that. The Stetzer game earlier this year, he had a wonderful game. For a 6-foot guy, he actually was one of our best post players. It was tough to get going against Teton because they're all big,
Mm-hmm.
That was one of his definite strengths. And then, I mentioned Logan Trent. He's a starter in football, starts in baseball, and he came back this year and said, hey, I'd like just to be a part of the team. And you don't have very many kids like that.
Right.
But they want to play, they want to start, they want to be a high point scorer. That's not him. Great supporter of the starters and the younger kids too. I wish all these guys well in the spring sports. He's going to be part of a very good baseball team that we're going to have to in spring too, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's just been a storybook season for the Fairfield Mules. It really has been a school record. You look at all the tournaments that you won this year. I mean, it's just amazing. Every tournament you were in, you won, except last night's sectional tournament. That's the only tournament you didn't win. But wow, it's just been an incredible run. 32-3. That's going to stand for who knows how many years. And I know it hurts to all these players and their parents and everybody right now, but as these players grow into adulthood, they're going to have these memories, and they're going to be bonded together, really for the rest of their lives. And every time that they come back to Fairfield Community High School and they walk in that gym, and they realize what they've done, and this is going to be a team that's going to be talked about for decades, Coach. I mean, it really will be.
I think so, and like you said, you always want one more. Our kids wanted to play number one national. That we have.
Mm-hmm.
Once we got through El Dorado, we set some goals, and one of them was 10-0 in the conference. Another was getting 28 wins, to beat the school record there in a season. And then our third goal is to play Nashville, because we knew there was a good chance that would happen, or that they would be there at Carbondale, which they are, because they're an outstanding team. Coach Hari's outstanding coach. And we were just one win away from that. Like you said, good teams. We're getting ready to watch the NCAA tournament in a little bit.
Yep.
Last year, number one Virginia got upset by a 16 team. I mean, it happened.
Right.
It doesn't take away from all the great things that they did throughout these years. So I'm just super proud of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, not only that, Coach, but the way they've represented the school and the community over there, you couldn't ask for any more.
No, and it started in the fall. I mean, a lot of these kids played football, and with Coach Townsend, they made it to the second round of the playoffs. The whole volleyball team almost was over there with Coach Snyder last night. They made it to the super sectional.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, the last three teams they beat, were playing at T-Town and then Nashville beat them. So we were on the course of doing the same thing that they were.
Yeah.
We finished one game short. And I mean, our crowd support was wonderful. It was me, Van Dagen's the world coach in my hometown, so I got to see my old high school coach came back to watch, a lot of high school and college friends.
Yeah.
So you always want to do well, and especially maybe when you've got friends and family more in attendance. But, it was special.
Yeah, well, winning has certainly been contagious this year in Fairfield. It's been a wonderful season, not only in basketball, but the other sports that you just mentioned. And, boy, a lot of community pride. A lot of community pride in Fairfield and Wayne County, even this morning after the loss last night. But, Coach, we want to thank you for your time throughout the season. It's always been a pleasure having you on the Sports Couch. It's been so much fun covering the Mules this year. And hope you can get some rest right now and have a chance to reflect back on how special this year's been.
I will, and I know one of the things that some of the younger kids I heard them talking about is we'll be back.
Great.
We lose some great seniors, but we have a really nice group of kids coming back. So, if we can keep this thing going, we're going to be really fun to watch in the next few years too.
Yeah, the cupboard's not going to be bare.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, I don't think the conference wants to see a lot of these kids come back.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing. There's probably 9 other Black Diamond conferences not feeling real sorry for you this morning, Coach. I got news for you.
And I can tell you another thing. I'm not trading with any of them either. I'm not these guys.
You know, though, hey, I do want to say one thing. There were some guys sitting right there to our right last night. Doug Miller and Cody Bailey and his staff. They were 100% behind you guys last night.
I know they were, and two of the ones right beside them were roommates of mine from McLeansboro from college. So, yeah, totally appreciate it. We felt a lot of support last night from
That's great.
a lot of schools around, so really appreciate that.
That's great. A lot of support. Coach, again, thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? Take care.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, guys.
All righty. Bye-bye. That is Coach Scott McElravy with the Fairfield Mules. Tough discussion this morning, but man, oh man, what a year that they've had, and what a lot of community pride as a result of what they've done, Danny.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like you said, this will be a team to go down in history.
Oh, yeah. I want to get Coach Saylor Schertz on the show this morning. Let's see if we can.
You want me to?
Yeah, can you run through those scores again real fast? Because I
can get them pull up here. Yep.
didn't have that button ready there, so go ahead.
Cesar Valera defeated Woodlawn 55-39. Moeaka A&M 63. Nokomis 57. Oakville Rockets, they punched their ticket to Jacksonville 57-50. T-Town over Fairfield 55-47. Nashville over Marquette 37-22. At Salem, Highland 59, Salem 39. At Breeze Central, East St. Louis 86, Mater Dei 45. At Albany, Urbana 57-56 over Effingham. At Massac County, Mascoutah makes the trip to Massac and they defeat Carbondale 54-32. At Freeburg, that's kind of ironic, Randy. Mascoutah goes all the way to Massac County, and Heron turns around and goes all the way to Freeburg, but they come home with a 60-58 victory last night.
What a win for the Heron Tigers. They have won I don't know how many in a row now, and ever since Fairfield beat them in the championship, the El Dorado Holiday Tournament, the Tigers have just been smoking, and they haven't let anybody get in their way. And what a come-from-behind victory last night for Coach Saylor Schertz and the Tigers as they win their first ever 3A regional. They beat Belleville-Altoff 60-58, and a very, very happy Saylor Schertz joins us right now. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Well, thanks for coming on. Congratulations, man. You just must be thrilled. I don't know if you probably didn't sleep any last night because you're probably still excited about it, huh?
Yeah, it was an exciting moment last night. Great atmosphere, and to win a regional with these guys is big. We've been playing some great ball lately, and it was an exciting to see the community. The community really showed up and got behind those guys, and they were a big reason. I think the second half we were able to come out and get a win, get a regional win. It was exciting.
How many in a row is that for the Tigers?
16 in a row.
16 in a row. Have you lost it all since losing to Fairfield in the El Dorado Holiday Tournament?
No, not since Fairfield. That was our last loss.
Wow, that's amazing. That is just amazing. Was that just kind of was that a catalyst after that loss? Was that just a bitter pill that the guys had to swallow and they just decided, you know what, we're tired of losing, we're not going to lose again? Is that kind of the mindset they had after that or what?
Yeah, I think so. And when we entered that championship, Fairfield was a very good team and very strong. And I thought we played two pretty good games, playing a Frankfort team and then playing a Massac County. And then when we got to that Saturday night, not to take anything away from that Fairfield team, but we were just kind of gassed. And they got us. And after that tournament, I think we put about 9 in a row before we lost to Fairfield. And these guys, like you said, just they didn't like losing. We don't like losing, and they really put a nice string of wins together and started believing and started riding that wave of confidence, and it's been huge for us.
Well, we were getting scores throughout the game last night there. You trailed at halftime, then you come out to start the third quarter and go on a 9-0 run to take the lead, and then it was just pretty much a dogfight all the way to the end of that contest, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a strong third quarter for us. We ended the first quarter with 2 points, and we're kind of looking over the coaching staff. And I said, "Hey, boys, it can't get much worse than this." So, first half was a tough first half, but I thought defensively we really came out. And they only scored 20, and we just didn't rebound very well, and we weren't hitting shots. But we knew in the second half we were going to come out and hit some shots, and our third quarter has been our strongest. Be able to come out 9-0, put a little pressure in them, get the crowd back into it. And like you said, after that, we just traded some buckets for about a 4 or 5 minute period in that third quarter. Both teams are playing very well, and it was just an exciting game to be part of.
Yeah, the score I had was tied 35 at the end of 3, and then the fourth quarter. That had to be a pretty challenging, exciting time. Your team scores 25 points in that fourth quarter to prevail 60-58 there last night. Talk about that fourth quarter a little bit.
Yeah, it was huge. Althoff, they have some very quick guards, very athletic, strong guards, and they were able to get by us with some dribble penetration, and it led to some buckets. But it was just kind of, like I said, dogfight, throwing punches back and forth. And one thing I've been really proud about these guys is stepping up and hitting free throws at the line. I know in the last 32 minutes, we felt comfortable putting in any of those guys' hands to step up and really close it out. It was a 2-point victory, but those guys, in crunch time, they step up and hit their throws. And as a coach, that makes you feel comfortable at the end of games.
Well, Coach, free throw shooting's been a problem throughout Southern Illinois. Last night was game number 88 for me, and a guy from T-Town was talking to me, and he said, you ever seen teams shoot free throws much worse than this? And I said, well, they made them in the second half when they needed to. But I said, yeah, believe it or not, I've seen a whole lot worse free throw shooting than I've seen here tonight. And he kind of chuckled about it. But that's been a problem throughout Southern Illinois. And I noticed at the El Dorado Holiday Tournament, one of the strengths of your teams was you could put them down at the line.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time, before practice, working on shots instead of just going in and, tossing it up. We spend our time shooting free throws, and it's just important. You see how important it's we played a lot of close games this year, and I think a lot of it is being able to come down at the end and hit throws and put it in the guys' hands that we know are comfortable at the line, and it's led us to a lot of wins and be able to, keep us in games.
Saylor, you were talking about the crowd earlier, and you've had great crowd support this year, and I've got a picture up on the screen right now of your Heron Crazies last night after the game. Man, what a throng you had there last night supporting you.
Yeah, it was great. They came out Wednesday night, and it's about an hour 45 on a bus, and every bit of that, on driving down there. And Wednesday night they came out against Columbia, and it was loud. Friday night we knew we had a chance of having a really decent crowd, and you get in there and you hear a crowd like that. One of the turning points in the game, the third quarter, was a hustle play by a couple of our guys, and Luke Lacroix picked the basketball up and drop stepped and dunked it, and that place, you thought the roof was going to pop off. It really was fun to be a part of. It's the players to be able to play in a game like that, and for me as a coach to play in that type of atmosphere, it was great. I was really proud of our community showing up and such a long drive to Muscoot and Freeburg, and coming out and supporting us.
I heard one of the rowdiest crazies there was a guy named Rod Schertz. Any truth to that?
Well, he's crazy.
Hey, oh yeah, he was right down there, and I think Mom had to keep him under control a little bit.
Well, I know he was probably the proudest guy in the gym last night.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it was exciting to kind of see your family over there, and to get him some orange and black was tough after wearing that Ranger maroon all year.
I'd seen him at a couple games earlier in the year, and he had that maroon Ranger outfit still on. I thought, he ain't never going to retire that.
No, I didn't think so, but I go, you better wear that orange or black when you come to Heron, otherwise you might be in trouble.
Yeah. Well, now, by winning last night, you move on to the sectionals, and you go to Mascoutah, and your opponent there is going to be the East St. Louis Flyers. And, that's going to be another tall order. But, again, you took care of it.
What a prize for winning last night.
Yeah, right. But you took care of a very athletic Belleville-Althoff team last night. So, that really has to give you confidence going against a team now like East St. Louis.
Yeah, Belleville-Althoff, they play over as a different competition for us, just in the sense of who they play, and it was a challenge for us last night, and the guys stepped up. But we know East St. Louis is a very good squad. They're all athletic, very strong. They're one of the best teams in the state. We know that. But for our guys, just riding this confidence, and we know, hey, we got to where we want to be playing in a sectional, and anything can happen. But I've got supreme confidence in these guys. I know they have confidence in themselves. And we'll watch a little game film today, get together, and talk about what we can do against these guys. But just execute on our end and go in and enjoy it as well.
Well, I'm sure you're going to be watching a lot of game film this weekend, getting ready for that. If you don't yet have the film on the T-Town game against East St. Louis, you might want to get a hold of that. And if you have problems getting it, let us know. We'll tell you how to get it. But T-Town had them had it to a 1-point game, I think, late in the fourth quarter. So that was a pretty good matchup. So you might pick up some tips on that one.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, again, you got to be just thrilled with the success that you've had, and not only winning the regional last night, but also, of course, you ran through that side of the River Conference too, and that's big, winning that championship, isn't it?
Yeah, that was something that we talked about. Two of our goals were to win a regional and win conference. And we talked about that over the summer, and we have a great group of seniors and some very talented juniors. And we knew that those were two possibilities and two of our main goals. And to be able to accomplish those right now, I'm very proud of these kids. And for them, it's been cool to see the community really get behind, and the younger kids really look up to this group of basketball players. And it's been an exciting season.
Yeah, it sure has been. Well, we appreciate your time this morning, Sailor, and again, congratulations on the regional championship, and best of luck as you go up against those Flyers next week at Mascoutah, and we'll be pulling for you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
Good luck.
Bye-bye. Sailor Schertz, head coach of the Heron Tigers, and I wouldn't sell him short, Again, anything can happen. That's why we call it March Madness.
Well, yeah, and he's got some kids that can do a lot of things and create a lot of problems, and they'll give him a good shot. Well,
I want to take you back 1 year ago. Okay, East St. Louis had a lot of these same athletes, Terrence Hargrove and Robinson, the same guys that are on the team this year. And last year they went to the sectional and they played the Marion Wildcats, and they were heavily favored against the Marion Wildcats. But you know what? Marion came in and beat them.
That's right.
Marion came in and beat them. And, so don't think that Heron can't find a way to compete in this, because they've got the shooters and they got the guys that can penetrate. And if East St. Louis gets in a little foul trouble, gets a little discombobulated, loses their cool a little bit, anything can happen.
Yeah, Heron's got a great team down there, and Sailor's doing a good job with them. He's a good young coach who's going to have a great career.
Oh, I think so too.
He's got a good team down there, and they'll be a handful.
They will be a handful. We'll take a short break. When we come back, visit with the head coach of the Oakville Rockets. That's John Krause. They won a Class 1A regional last night. We'll talk to John coming up next here on the Sports Couch. Right after these underwriting messages. You've heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Real Life Radio thanks Fairfield Printing and Graphics for their partnership in local Christian radio ministry. Fairfield Printing and Graphics offers custom sizing for banners and signs, as well as yard signs, corrugated signs, and metal signs. Fairfield Printing and Graphics also specializes in custom t-shirts, business cards, wedding invitations, hats, bags, and much more. They are located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-4048.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch. Here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming right now at areasports.net, live audio streaming at wvyn.org, as well as on our free Vine mobile app. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Ounsema. Last night, Class 1A sectional championships, the Oakville Rockets punched their ticket to the Elite Eight. You beat Madison last night by a score of 57-50. And joining us right now is head coach of the Rockets. That's John Krause. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on the show. Congratulations. Boy, history repeating itself. You went all the way, of course, to the title game last year, and you're kind of headed in the right direction again after a big win last night against a very athletic Madison team. So tell us how it went, how you did it.
Yeah, we are really excited to be where we're at, obviously. And, it was one of those games that was back and forth, pretty much the whole game. And, we led, 1 or 2 points pretty much the whole first half. And I think we led by 1 at half. And they came out and made a good run right there at the beginning of the second half and got up on us 3 or 4. And it was pretty nip and tuck pretty much the whole way. And I think maybe with like 3 minutes to go, they had a 6-point lead on us. And, our kids just kept fighting. They just kept fighting it out and getting stops and scoring. And we were able to take the lead with probably a minute to go and then got a big stop and a rebound and then made some free throws down the stretch. But, really exciting time for our community, obviously. The last 2 years, going doing what we did and just getting back, to where we're at right now and, 1 game away from getting back for the 3rd straight year is just really exciting and something I'm really proud of with our kids.
Oh, absolutely. You should be proud. And somebody sent me a shot of a wide shot of the gym last night from up high at your place. And, of course, you hosted that sectional championship last night. It looks like you had a heck of a crowd and good atmosphere last night in Oakville.
Yeah, there's no question that was something that was really, helpful to us. But, our community's come out strong. And, we had I don't know how many people were there. I haven't seen the numbers yet. But there was an awful lot of people there, and it was really loud. And it was just a great high school atmosphere, something that was just fun, and that was something that our kids, hopefully they'll never forget, how fun it is to play in front of a crowd like that. And, we've been very fortunate in the last several years to have crowds, similar to that for a lot of our games. And, last night was a really, really good crowd, and just a lot of people just in general, I think, just coming to watch that game, not maybe from Oakville or Madison, but just, a lot of general public people just coming out to watch it, a good high school basketball game, and I think they got treated to a really good game.
Yeah, just basketball fans.
Coach, I think you can say that about all of Southern Illinois last night. Randy and myself, we went up to Vandalia, and there was just a lot of basketball people there to see a good game of basketball, and I'm sure the same thing was there. We seen a shot from down at Heron last night. This is a special time of year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. You guys know as well as I do. You've been around the game of basketball for longer than me even. But when you get down to this part of the state in Southern Illinois and you get to the postseason, it's just something that people around here live for. It's a community thing that, you can't wait till the regional championships, the sectional championships. And this time of year, it just brings out people that you probably haven't seen all year at basketball games, and you see them coming out. And it's just really good. It's like you said, it's a great part of the state to come watch high school basketball if you really love it, because those people are coming out to watch games and they're supporting their kids and their community, and it's really what it's all about.
Well, your community has to be very proud. They went out on a limb. They built you a new school system over there and a great gymnasium to be able to host some things like that. And you've been able to reap the rewards of that. And what more special than to win at home in front of the hometown folks last night?
Yeah, you're right. You know, when we built our new school and our community passed the referendum to build that new school, and we built our gym, and yeah, you know, you can come into our gym and look at it and think, why do you have a gym this big for our, you know, small community? You know, if you were there last night, you see why. You know, we brought out a lot of people and probably had over 2,000 people in that facility. Where you know, years ago we had in our other gym we might be able to get 800 people, and you know, it's just something, like you said, that our community is really proud of, I think, and you know, we're trying to, you know, show it off to people and get those people excited. And so yeah, it definitely helps us to be able to host events like this, and I'm sure the IHSA, they love to see the 2,000 people in those stands as well. They're reaping the benefits of that. So it's just really good. You know, like I said, it's 2 years now we've had to host. I think we won our sectional in 2 years, and we've been hosting it. So you know, it's just something we're excited to do and happy to do, even if we're not playing. It's just, you know, we get people that come to watch from Oakville, just like you said, general fans just come to watch games. And so that's the best part that, you know, that we really like about it.
Well, now it's off to Jacksonville for your team. This northern route's been pretty good to the Oakville Rockets. Who will your opponent be up there on Tuesday night?
We're going to play Triopia.
Concord Triopia? Yeah.
Yep. That's what I said. That's what they told me last night. They wanted to sell work before time or something. So.
What do you know about them? Anything?
Not really. Nothing at all right now. You know, we'll obviously start here this morning and start working on them and try to find some film and some information on them as much as we can, and we'll start doing that today.
They probably don't know anything about you either, though.
We're not going to be able to help you on that one, Coach. I never even heard of them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's that's the one thing that we found in the last several years. Going the direction that we go north now towards Jacksonville for the super sectional and even the sectionals, is that, you know, it's not easy to get information and to find out. You know, you have to travel 2 hours to go scout a game, and it's been a little bit more difficult for us at times. And you know, same thing for the teams that we're playing. They got to come down here, but you know, when we were south all the time, you know, we knew all these teams, and it was easy to get information. You know, like, you know, even last year we played Goreville in the state semifinals. We knew about Goreville, you know, they knew about us, but it wasn't hard for us to get information. You know, we had seen them play, and we knew a lot about them.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more difficult when you got to go north. They're a little bit more hesitant to help you out.
Sure.
You're a southern team,
right?
Have a little bit more difficult time trying to get.
You're the outlaws, man.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And so, but you know, on the flip side of that, same thing down here. You know, our coaches down here in the south are pretty tight, and you know, you know, I've been called before to help teams out, you know, from up north about teams down here for the state tournament, and you know, I think that pretty much for the most part we stick pretty tight down here too. You know, we're not going to help each other.
You had a memory lapse, did you, Coach?
Yeah, sometimes it's just one of those things where you just have to, you decline sometimes, and just you're good friends with these guys down here, and you know, you don't, you know, it's hard because as a coach, you know, at some point you're going to need help from those towns, you know, those schools sometimes. You need some help from them, and so you want to try to get that, you know, trade-off. But, you know, in reality, when you get down here in the South teams, you got, you know, really good friends as coaches. You pretty much stay tight with those guys, and you just have to, you know, decline and say, hey, you know, you have to find somewhere else. You know, I have good friends. It's just, you know, kind of the way it is. And,
sure.
But it's hard for both ways. You know, they have a difficult time finding that stuff on us, and we'll have difficult time on them. But you know, no matter what happens, by the time we get to Tuesday, we'll know everything about them, and they'll know about us. We'll all figure it out. So it is what it is.
Well, you know, Coach, old Phil Lieb up at Florida, we was talking about him one year, a couple seasons ago, and I said, well, Coach, I guess you're going to go out and scout tonight. And he said, no. He said, I'm going to go home, sit in a recliner. He said, I just tell you how I feel about this. He said, we're at this point in the season right now. The only thing I'm interested in is to see if you can beat me at what I'm good at. He said, we're going to get up tomorrow morning, we're going to have practice, and we're going to get better at what we do, and we're going to try to do it the best we can on Tuesday night. And if they can stop you at doing what you're good, they're going to advance. If they can't, you're going to move on to Peoria next week.
Yep, I think that he's exactly right, and we take on that same motto during the postseason. Even once you get to a certain point of the season, after the Christmas tournaments, and you start getting into the midwinter tournaments around January, our practices are very short. We might go an hour, and a lot of it is just doing some shooting. Just keeping things fresh in your mind and working on a few things here and there, And we'll do the same thing, starting tomorrow and Monday. We're not going to go play full court basketball. We're going to just talk about things and walk through things. And I think he's right. At this time of the season, you're not going to change your team. You are what you are, and if you're really good at what you do, my college basketball coach used to say that too. We never had scouting reports when I played at college basketball at McKendree, and Coach Statham was still one of the all-time leading college coaches in the country for wins, and his theory was if we do what we're supposed to do and we play the way we're supposed to play, they can't beat us.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to get good at what we do, and that's
good point.
Of the model that we take with our kids a lot of times too. Let's be good at what we do, and if they're good at what they do, something's going to happen. One team's going to win, one's going to lose. Usually, it just comes down to execution. If you can execute what you're supposed to be doing and the stuff that you want to do. Usually this time of year, you're going to come out on top. It's the team that executes the best, especially late in the game.
Yeah.
Execute and make free throws.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, you're right. And that was a big part of our game last night. I think we made 20-some free throws last night, late in the game.
Wow.
And when it's a close game, like you said, you gotta execute. You gotta get good. You gotta get good shots and make buckets at the end. You gotta have kids that make plays, and we had kids make plays last night. And when you get to this point in the season, that's what you got to have. You got to have your kids step up, and maybe kids that you don't expect to make plays. They make plays and make free throws, and just a lot of the little things.
Yeah,
the little things win postseason games. We continue to stress that with our kids.
You bet.
It's like Dave Lee always said: to be the man, you got to want to be the man.
That's right. Yep, you got to have some kids that are willing to step up and not be afraid to fail. If you're afraid to fail, you're probably going to fail. And one of my assistant coaches made that comment to me the other day. He goes, "Our kids are just not afraid to fail," and he's right. That's exactly what it is. We've just gone out lately and just played basketball, and we're comfortable in these situations. We play a really, really tough schedule for a small school, and it pays dividends for us. We're not afraid when it comes late in the game and big crowds and tough situations. Our kids are just not afraid to fail, and I think that's a large part of where we're at.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time this morning. Again, congratulations on the sectional championship last night, advancing to the Elite Eight, and best of luck next week as you prepare for Concord Triopia, and we'll be pulling for you. All right?
Thanks, Randy. I appreciate you guys having me on this morning.
Go get them. All right. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. John Krause, head coach of the Oakville Rockets, and man, oh man, about to make his perhaps third trip in a row up there to the big house.
Got
it going on.
They just keep that thing rolling over there. It's one of them deals that winning breeds winning.
It sure does. Take a short break. When we come back, visit with Coach Shane Garner of Cesar-Valliere. Stay tuned. Are you going out of town for a vacation or a weekend getaway? What are you going to do with your dog? That's easy. There's Jaggers Doggy Daycare in Mount Vernon. Jaggers Doggy Daycare is your one-stop shop for overnight dog boarding, doggy daycare, as well as dog grooming and obedience dog training. It's your dog's home away from home, and they will thrive, and they'll get one-on-one attention by a great staff. More information is available on the web at jaggersdoggydaycare.com. Jaggers Doggy Daycare, 414 Main Street in Mount Vernon.
Programming on 90.9 The Vine is underwritten by ProVision Eye Care. Located in Mount Vernon, ProVision Eye Care has a 90-year history of serving Jefferson and surrounding counties. They provide quality comprehensive eye exams along with diagnosing and treating eye disease. ProVision Eye Care is located at 112 South 42nd Street, and their phone number is 244-0508. Dr. Jennifer Bass would like to share a passage from Proverbs 29:18, "Where there is no vision, the people perish."
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both our websites. We have live video streaming right now at areasports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Ounselman. Last night in Class 1A sectional championship down at Gallatin County. Cesar Lear overwhelmed Woodlawn last night as the Devils defeated the Cardinals by a score of 55-39. Cesar Lear punches their ticket to the Elite Eight this coming Tuesday night down at the SIU Arena in Carbondale, where they will take on Moweaqua Central A&M. And joining us on the phone right now is the head coach of Cesar Lear. That's Shane Garner. Good morning, Shane. How are you?
Morning, guys. Doing really well.
Well, I'm sure you're doing real well, and I bet you're a popular guy this morning. Probably a lot of media is wanting to talk to you this morning because that was a huge win last night for your program. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Hats off to our guys who, they came to compete and they came to get after it, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, they had to get after it defensively, and I'm looking at the stats here, and you held McKay to 11 points and Martin to 8 points. Everybody wants to know, how in the world did you do that last night?
It's all our boys. They came to play and came to get after it, and those were the two keys. We wanted to keep Martin out of the paint. We want to keep McKay off balance as much as we could, and we had 3 guys step up to guard McKay throughout the night, 2 guys to guard Martin throughout the night, and our guys, they were ready. We defend. We have all year, and that's something we take something very serious, and our guys. If we defend, we'll always have a chance to win, and so that's what we went out to do last night.
Well, then how about Seth Bowles coming out offensively for you last night? I don't know, was that a career game for him? He had 23 points. That was huge for Cesar.
Yeah, absolutely. Last couple of weeks, Tyler's been drawing a lot of heat, and we've been just, we're getting through and trying to get some points here and there from different guys. But Steph, he definitely, stepped up last night and hit some big shots. They get up with 4 threes. I think he almost had like 3 straight possessions where he came down and hit one. And it's just hats off. They took advantage of what was there. He was open. Martin had to come out and guard him. Seth could shoot the ball, and so he shot it and it went in. So great. It's just a great night for a senior. Step up and do that. In the sectional final. So.
Well, Coach, that's one of those moments that he'll never forget the rest of his life. His teammates won't forget it, and the community won't either. It's just special when those kind of things happen, and that's why they call this March Madness.
Oh, absolutely. Just talking about Seth, he's a great kid. He's been with us all 4 years, and off and on, and then finally, got his opportunity this year to be out there, full time as a starter, and he's really worked hard on developing him, having a perimeter shot, and it's funny for him because either game, it doesn't matter what game it is, that's going to take the same approach to it, and that's what he did last night in a big time game. But to him, it was just him stepping up, knocking down shots, and that's exactly what he did.
I heard some other people talking this morning, and they said a kid that went very unnoticed was Eli Gunner. Said he played some excellent defense. Said that he got about every 50-50 ball there was for your team last night, and those are the type of things that put you over the hump and win basketball games for you.
Absolutely. If you look at the box score, I don't think Eli scored last night. But if you were at the game, you knew Eli Gunner was on the floor. He guarded McKay most of the night. And it's kids like that allow you to have success in the postseason. We believe if you can defend, if you can make free throws, and you can make layups, and you can rebound, you're going to have opportunities to win a lot of games. And Eli Gunner does all of those. He's a tremendous young man. He's maybe possibly the hardest worker that one of the hardest workers we've ever had come through our program because he's selfless. It's not about him. It's about what he needs to do for this team to win, and you never hear anything out of it because of that. And so, it's kids like that allow you to have success and allow this to be as fun as it is right now.
Coach, as I sit here and think about it, I think and I may have mentioned it to you last week, I remember seeing on social media after your game, you and one of your young men was sitting there, and you could tell he was really excited to be talking to you, and you had your arm around him, and I think it was Eli Gunner, that the picture I saw of you two guys sitting there after your hard-fought regional championship last week.
Yeah, it's one thing we try to do is we try to build relationships with these kids. We're going to have them for 4 years, and then they're going to be gone. we can win ball games while we're here, but we want to win in other areas too. And so, we try to develop as deep as relationships that we can, and that's with all of our coaches and all our kids. And we feel that what we do is nothing, nothing out of the ordinary, but it's very special because we try to develop that deep trust and that deep relationship where we can be honest with each other, but we know we love each other. And then you're able to have those moments, things like that where, you just get to enjoy it. So I'm very thankful for the boys that I have, and the guys that I get to just spend time with. They're a fun group, and, I know my job is to try to make them better, but they end up making me better every day just by who they are.
Well, I seen one thing you're going to have to work on, though. I was watching some highlights last night of your victory celebration and stuff. You're going to have to figure out how to juggle 3 children and that sectional plaque a little better. You was struggling with that, Coach.
Yeah, I know. Lord's blessed us with 3 great kids, and unfortunately, one of them we got to hold pretty tight because he can't handle them. The other one we got to squeeze tight because he's wanting to run around.
That's great.
We try to capture a moment there and let it go, so it'll be something special that we back on.
Yeah. Well, hey, here's an interesting statistic between you and former coach Chip Basso, your athletic director. Woodlawn is 0 for 5 against Cesar-Valere in postseason play. You guys just seem to own them in postseason. That's a big rivalry, but that's something that you guys are proud of and can hang your hat on, that you're 5-0 against Woodlawn in postseason. That's huge.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about that, and and I don't want that to come off as whatever it is. There's no one who I respect more than Shane Witzel and Brian Gamber. Those guys are tremendous at what they do. Growing up as a young coach, Shane Witzel was someone who I looked at and tried to replicate, with his demeanor and how he coached kids.
Sure.
And I have nothing but respect for them, and and I think that's why we play so hard against them, is because of how much we respect them. And the things that they've done, and they broke the ice for people down here. I mean, they were able to go to the state tournament first, and because of what they did, we believe we could do it too. And so, once again, I know what that record is. I know a lot of people talk about that, but there is nothing but respect on our end for those 2 guys and their program and what they've done.
Yeah. Well, now you got the tall task of going down to the SIU Arena Tuesday night. You're going to take on Moweaqua Central A&M. What do you know about them, Coach?
Well, I know they got a lot of size, and I know they got experience because they played down there last year against Goreville. So, we're going to have to look at some different things that we can do and be successful without changing who we are. So I got some pretty great assistants who have already been up at 8 o'clock this morning working on and getting stuff so I could do things like this. And we're going to get together here in about a half hour, see what we got and see what we can do.
All right.
Well, best of luck down there, Coach, on Tuesday night. We look for Cesar to put on a good show down there.
Everybody in Southern Illinois is going to be pulling for you, Coach. All right?
Well, thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
And thanks for your time this morning, as always, okay? Take care. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. God bless.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Head coach Shane Garner of Cesar-Valere Red Devils. Big win last night over Woodlawn as, they jumped out, 30-15 at halftime, Dan?
Yeah, it was 30-15, and, that was kind of a surprise score when I got that. I thought Cesar might give Woodlawn all they wanted down there last night. I thought that game could go either way, but Cesar just took them over and took them out of the game.
Yeah, they really did. Again, they held McKay to 11 points last night, Jake Martin to 8. Meanwhile, Seth Bowles has 23 last night for Cesar-Valere, and Tyler Winchester, although they did a pretty good job, Woodlawn did, of slowing him down, he still managed to get 16 points last night. They shot free throws well. Winchester himself was 8 out of 10 from the line.
He's a heck of a player.
He is.
Yeah, Cesar led 15-8 after one. It was 25-11 midway through the second quarter. The final was 55-39.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a big win last night for Cesar-Valere, and again, we'll see how they do down there Tuesday night in the 1A Super Sectional against Central A&M. We've not seen Central A&M play this year, so we're not really sure about them. Hopefully, we're going to get Jack Bullock on in before the show is done, and perhaps he has seen them play this year and can maybe give us a little bit more insight about what to expect from them. Coming up, though, we're going to be visiting with Wayno. Wayne Hari, head coach of the Nashville Hornets. They punched their ticket to the Elite Eight last night with another big win, winning the 2A sectional. And, boy, he's just got them rolling, doesn't he?
Yeah, be interested to talk with Wayne this morning here. That Nashville team led 4-3 after one.
So Alton Marquette obviously tried to slow things down because I don't think Wayne was slowing it down.
It was 15-7 at halftime, 24-14 after 3, and winds up 37-22.
All right. Well, we'll get with Wayno coming up next year on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Sometimes you need an attorney who can look out for your interest. Located just a short drive away in Mount Vernon, Olson & Reeves offer a free consultation to discuss your needs. Everything is discreet and confidential. At Olson & Reeves, they can provide you with consultation and assistance with traffic law and DUIs, estate planning, living wills, divorce, real estate contracts, personal injury and accidents, as well as medical malpractice. Call Olson & Reeves, attorneys at law in Mount Vernon at 316-7322.
The Pain Center of Fairfield Memorial Hospital strives to deliver the most advanced, minimally invasive services to restore function, relieve pain, and renew the hope of our patients. We serve individuals with chronic pain caused by a wide variety of medical issues, and the chances are we've treated someone with pain just like yours. Don't wait. Start living without pain today. If you are experiencing chronic pain, talk to your doctor about visiting us at the Pain Center of Fairfield Memorial Hospital. Take your health into your own hands and stop the pain. For more information, call 842-2082 or visit fairfieldmemorial.org/pain.
Heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Real Life Radio thanks Fairfield Printing and Graphics for their partnership in local Christian radio ministry. Fairfield Printing and Graphics offers custom sizing for banners and signs, as well as yard signs, corrugated signs, and metal signs. Fairfield Printing and Graphics also specializes in custom t-shirts, business cards, wedding invitations, hats, bags, and much more. They are located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-4048.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming now at areasports.net, live audio streaming at wvyn.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Ounceman. Last night, Class 2A sectional championship down at DuQuoin. Nashville Hornets held off the Alton Marquette team by a score of 37-22, so the Hornets punched their ticket to the Elite Eight. They'll be at the SIU Arena this coming Tuesday night, where they'll take on the Teutopolis Wooden Shoes. And joining us right now on the phone is the most popular guy in media this morning, at least the most popular coach anyway. That's Wayno. Wayne Hari. Good morning, Wayne. How are you?
Hey, good talking to you guys all the time.
What are we like? Are we like media number 9 this morning, or what? I'm your popular guy this morning, aren't you?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I appreciate the people giving a call and talking. I do appreciate that. You guys it's what it's all about. And,
yeah,
I always enjoy talking to people on the radio.
Well, thank you. Well, we have got a picture of you and your team and cheerleaders on the screen right now for those watching at home. And man, there's a lot of smiles on those faces last night after winning that sectional championship. That's got to feel good, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, Randy, it did. It was it's a hard fought game. That sectional championship is hard to win, and we just feel very fortunate winning that game. It was a grind out game. I mean, it was a possession by possession game, and I thought our kids really stayed focused every possession. And again, the possessions were down. I think we all know that Alton Marquette runs that Princeton offense, so they're not going to. They keep turning it over and over and over and running their offense. Mm-hmm. Looking for a good shot, looking for a bunch of back cuts, and so it was when you play a team like that and you happen to you're lucky enough to get a win, makes you feel pretty good.
Well, I said, Coach, I started getting scores last night from around the area, and at the end of one, it was 4-3. At halftime, it was 15-7, and somebody said, "What do you think?" And I said, Alton Marquette doesn't realize it, but they're playing right into Wayne's hands. I said, he's loving this because this is helping his defensive average.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess I never thought about it, but that's right. But yeah, it was just one of those things. What are you going to do? You know, you just got to play the way it is, and our kids stayed with it, didn't get frustrated, and they wanted to spread us out a little bit, which is fine. It's all part of it. We've been through it. We've been through those kind of games a lot. You know, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to play like that for us too. You know, I mean, you're playing against it. You again, like I said before, you have to stay focused. But it's the way it is, and that's how it is in low-scoring games. And it usually happens in a postseason game, usually like that.
Well, you know, it was 24-14 at the end of 3, and then it wound up being 37-22. And, you know, your team has experienced so much of this stuff this season. Teams have tried to slow you down. They've tried to combat you. They've limited your possessions. But you know what? You've been able to come out on top of those battles, and your team should be prepared for about anything they throw at you, including the kitchen sink.
Well, we hope so. That's what our schedule is all about, and we've played a bunch of different ways, and like you said, it seems like we've seen a lot of stuff. So I'm hopefully, you know, whatever Tuesday brings, we'll be ready for that. And again, that's why you schedule tough opponents and different opponents, and you play against good coaches and things like that for the postseason.
Yeah.
Well, you get a T-Town team now that Yuns defeated here a couple of weeks ago, Wayne. You know that there'll be some adjustments made from that game, but you also have a pretty good feel for their personnel and their talent now.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, it's, you know, there's good things and bad things when you play somebody, but the good things is, you know, we do know about some of their personnel, and knowing T-Town, they're going to make adjustments too, and we got to be ready for that, and so we'll see what happens.
Their big two wound up with 40 of their 55 last night.
Yeah, they're two all-staters. I mean, I thought when we play, I mean, they're hard. You know, we talk about our defense. Well, we can guard them like crazy, but they can still score. You know, sometimes you can guard, especially on the boys' side, you can guard like crazy, and they're still going to score on you. So we got to get prepared for that. But you know, it's just not those two. They're capable. The other kids are capable too. And we were fortunate that you know, they had some open shots when we played them, and they just missed them, and you know, they can make them, and it changes everything around. And they're just they're a solid club, and you know, I know we're long, but I think they're almost as tall as us. I mean, they are a tough matchup for anybody.
They are long. You're exactly right, because having guards the size they do, you don't see too many of those. Yeah.
No, exactly. The Smith kid is, you know, is probably is as tall as
Weber,
Bryce Boltman,
or Boltman. Yeah, sure. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, they're about the same size, and he can shoot it. I mean, he's a pure shooter out there, and he can get to the rim. And the Weber kid is one of the best post guys around. And again, then the other 3 feet off him. So those two. So again, they're just a solid ball club.
Yeah, you know, the Fairfield team didn't have an answer for the big guy Weber on the inside there last night, and it seemed like every time the Mules got ready to make a run at him, he would get a basket, and maybe a basket and a free throw, and he just kind of took the game over for his team late in the ball game there. Yeah,
he knows how to play, knows how to get his body in a situation, you know, get him down the post and get the ball on the rim, and again, yeah, exactly. He just does a tremendous job, and the kids and they know how to get him the basketball, so in the right position. So again, that's a good point. I mean, he'll get in there, get a bucket and a foul or something like that. So yeah, he's a big key to their success, and he's a senior. Those two are seniors, and you know, they're playing like seniors.
Well, you don't think there'll be any people show up to watch that game down there on Tuesday night, do you?
Yeah, there'll be a lot of farmers in there, I would think. You know what I'm saying, around this about both communities. You know, I think
you know, you talk about
like basketball.
You talk about that, Wayne. Last night, Fairfield, I mean, they're starting to fill this place up. And Randy's sitting here saying, he said, man, I can't believe all the T-Town people, where are they all at? He said, I can't believe they're not got a crowd more than they is. And there was a guy sitting next to us, and he said, hey, they're just finishing up chores. They're trying to still get here. He said, they'll be here before game time. Sure enough, they were.
Yeah, they were.
I'm sure of that. That's exactly right.
Had to get the chores done first.
Yeah, they got to get that stuff all done first before they go. But they'll show up. There's no doubt about that. They'll be down there. They'll be down there and have a lot of energy. There's no question about it.
Well, one of the things that's made Nashville so successful this year, Wayno, is your defense, your team defense, and you guys do such a great job of communicating. And I'm sure last night in that Alton Marquette game, that was so important because when you got a team that's run that Princeton offense like they do with those back cuts, you've got to be communicating, you got to be talking to keep from getting burned, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a good point, Randy. We talked about that, with our kids' game planning, and hey, you got to talk this out, and be ready for different because it's all about reads. They're not doing the same thing every time. Either sometimes a back cut, sometimes they're ball screening. Sometimes it's all about they're reading the defense. So yeah, I mean we have done that. I will say that our kids have really worked together. It's everybody's got to be working together defensively. No matter Frankfurt, they ran the dribble drive, and that was all different. And so you still have to talk about that. In case you have to switch out on somebody and things like that. And knock on wood, we have been pretty solid all year. And
man, I can't believe he said that.
He actually admitted they've been solid all year.
Yeah, we've talked to him several times, and he's always said, we gave up 24 points one night. Yeah, but he said, we really could have played a little bit better. I'm sitting here thinking, what's he wanting to do? Pitch a shutout here in a basketball game? And I can't believe he finally admitted they have been pretty solid.
Yeah, they've been pretty
giving
solid.
up I'm not 100% sure, but that defensive average is somewhere around 25 points a game.
It's not very high.
And so he's pretty solid, Randy. Just
solid.
Remember that.
Yeah, pretty solid. That's right. No, you have been pretty solid for sure.
Well, that's why I don't. Hopefully Tuesday we got to be be pretty solid too. So
yes, you do.
You know what I'm saying? So we have
you
do. I think it only takes one night, to not to be the best. So, but so we want to make sure we are.
I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. I don't know if anybody's brought this up to you yet, but I'm going to bring it up. A week from today, you could be playing for a state championship. It's going to happen that fast. And I don't know that there's ever been anybody in the history of Illinois basketball that's won a state championship both in girls, high school basketball, and in boys. But, you probably don't want to think about it or talk about it, but you got a chance to do something very rare that I don't think's ever been done, Wayno.
Well, I haven't really thought about it a whole lot, Fran. I'll be you guys, and I don't, if it happens, it'd be fine, But we'll be focused on Tuesday, and it's about the kids anyway. It's about the kids, and it's kids and how well they play. That's what it's all about, and that's what we'll focus on. And hopefully, we'll play well Tuesday.
Well, let's talk real quick about your community and the pride that you've got there. The Hornet Nation, you guys travel so well. That community really gets around what you're doing, and I'm sure they'll be there in the throng on Tuesday night at the arena. Yeah,
our support has really been tremendous through the season and this postseason. The kids, I think they really like watching the kids play, and the kids have been playing really hard, and I think our community appreciates that, and that's what's neat about it. It's you remember like last night, there's a lot of young grade school kids watching the game, and watching kids play, watching our kids play, and you really appreciate that. They come and support, and they're thinking, okay, in a few years I'll be playing basketball, hopefully for Nashville, and you want to make sure that what the other coaches and the other teams have handled themselves well out there for Nashville, and we want to make sure we keep that up and represent Nashville High School well.
Coach, you're exactly right there. This team does not realize the examples and the role models they are for a bunch of young kids. I can remember my son as he was growing up. We've got a little basketball goal set up there in the middle of the living room floor, and the Grassowich boys were playing at Pinckneyville, and it was Grassowich from the corner or Grassowich on a three, and he just idolized those kids because of the way they played, and so you never know who is really watching you.
That's exactly right. I know we had the 70-71 team. I'm 5 or 6 years old. You know, my dad. Of course, we were done milking cows. So then when we go, of course, then we'd go to the game. You know what I'm saying? And and I remember, the 71 team. We ended up, played a 3 overtime game at the arena. You know, the sectional used to be at the arena because it was one class.
Right.
Played Meridian, won that game in the sectional championship, and ended up getting beat by Benton in the Super. Played 3 games at the arena, but I remember Rick Keller and the Foreys and Hobby playing, and that, you know what I'm saying? It's just those things that you remember, and and you're exactly right. You just remember those things. It's just one of those things that you'll never forget.
Yeah, stays with you the rest of your life. That's for sure. Wayno, we appreciate your time this morning. Again, congratulations on that berth into the Elite Eight, and good luck against those T-Town Wooden Shoes Tuesday night down in Carbondale. We'll be pulling for you.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Always good talking to you.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
See you, Wayne. Good luck.
Bye-bye. Wayne Hari, head coach of the Nashville Hornets. Always a lot of fun.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty solid. He's admitting they're pretty solid. We finally got him to admit it.
Finally.
After all this time. All
basketball season, we've been working on this, and finally, we're not pretty good. Yeah. We're just pretty solid.
Right. Jack Bullock's going to join us here from Baseline View, and we'll ask him about Central A&M and a few other things. You want to run through those scores again real quick, Dan? I'll get him on the phone.
All right. We'll see if I can get him up here. All right. At 4A last night, Belleville West defeated Chatham Glenwood 52-43. Darren Lee's Collinville team comes up short last night, 58-48. At Danville beat Bloomington 66-64. In 3A, Jerseyville, Springfield Southeast 71, Springfield Sacred Heart Grissom 58. At Freeburg, Heron wins their first regional in 3A last night. Congratulations to Sailor Shirts and his team, 60-58 against the Belleville Altoff team. At Massac County, kind of surprise, Mascoutah, not maybe so much in winning, but they thumped Carbondale last night, 54-32. At Albany, Urbana makes the trip south. They defeat Effingham 57-56. And at Breeze Central, Breeze falls to East St. Louis 86-45. And at Salem, Highland defends their ranking 59-39.
All right, and your good friend Darren Lee over there at Collinsville unfortunately lost last night in 4A regional. They got beat by Alton 58-48. I was really hoping that Collinsville was going to get a rematch with Belleville West in the sectional, but it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen,
but Belleville West did advance over Chatham Glenwood. All right, well, one of the guys that definitely knows a lot about 1A and 2A basketball because he follows it all season long, and you'll see him in a lot of gyms. He's that bald-headed guy sitting on the end of the floor at the end of the gym with a big camera in his hand and a big notepad.
Usually got a Raiders shirt
usually
on.
Wearing the Raiders gear. Yeah, probably has Raiders gear on this morning, no doubt, as well. That's Jack Bullock of baselineview.com. Jack, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
All right. You got the Raiders gear on this morning?
Actually, no. I have St. Louis Cardinals on.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, it is about baseball season. Yeah, you and Danny matched this morning then.
Well, at least you not got some of that Cubs stuff on.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Cubs, who are they?
And no Bryce Harper jersey for you, huh?
No.
That's another story for another day. All right. Well, you get around the gyms all around Central and Southern Illinois, of course, promoting your website and writing your stories. And by the way, nice story that you wrote last night on the game that you saw down at Gallatin County. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But our curiosity is, have you had a chance to see Moweaqua Central A&M play this year?
I have not. I didn't get a chance to see them. I saw Nokomis.
Okay.
They were impressive when I saw them, but I knew this. I knew this was going to happen. I knew that it was going to end up being those four that I had picked all year.
Yep.
That I knew it was going to be Nokomis and Central A&M, and I knew basically it was going to be, unless something really crazy happened, it was going to be Chester-Valier and Woodlawn.
Right.
But I did. I know quite a bit about him. I know Coach Smith, Rob Smith. He's a former assistant to Ken Crawford at Teutopolis.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with him, and I've talked to him a few times. And they're a team that, most people in Southern Illinois know that they got to the Super last year, and then
Right.
they didn't shoot very well at the Super last year and got beat by Goreville.
Mm-hmm.
And I fully expect them to shoot a lot better Tuesday night.
Yeah, we had Coach
They're
Shane Garner on.
older.
We had Garner on this morning. Coach Garner, he said that they had a lot of size he knows of on Central A&M.
Well, they start 4 kids that are 6'4".
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have they start 4 of their kids are juniors, including their top player Connor Heaton. He's an All-State candidate. 18 points, 8 something rebounds, something like that. And he's one of those kids that he's a quarterback on the football team.
Mm-hmm.
There was a playoff football team. I forget who they played down here. Didn't they played one of the? Did they play Edwards County?
Possibly.
In the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, they did play Edwards County. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, and no, they're one of those teams that they've been there all year. They're part of the Central Illinois Conference.
Right.
And they are the only 1A school in the conference. Everybody else is 2A and 3A. There's
Oh, wow.
a 3A team,
Yeah.
and so they play a good competitive schedule. And their 3 losses this year were to a 2A team, Williamsville, and they lost to 2A Chicago Corliss, who's still alive. They played in the Super Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And they lost to Lincoln Way East, a 4A school out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So those are their 3 losses.
Yeah. Pretty formidable opponent then for Cesar coming up on Tuesday night then. Yeah.
Well, they're 31-3, so they've beaten pretty much everybody else.
Yeah.
And this is back-to-back years that they've beaten Nokomis.
Yeah.
In the second.
At the half last night, Jack, that score was 31-27. At the end of 3, they were up 47-38. But then in that fourth quarter, Nokomis went on a 13-0 run and led in that game 54-43 with 3:32 left. And then Moeaka come back and beat them 63-57. So that was a game of runs, especially late there in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, these are 2 teams that, they're very familiar with each other. They play each other. They played in the postseason before, and last year that game was played at Central A&M. They hosted the sectional last year, but this year was a neutral court. I don't know if you've ever been to Altamont's gym, but
yes.
It's a great It's a great atmosphere for basketball.
Uh-huh.
And I got some text messages last night that they said that the place was just crazy. It was packed, and so I'm sure it was a great atmosphere. It was a great atmosphere last night at Gallatin County too.
Sure it was.
It should be an interesting super sectional.
Yeah, well, we had quite an atmosphere at Vandalia, too. Last night was one of those nights where you'd like to be a clone of yourself and go about 4 places, right?
Yeah, I have said that for a long time. From about regional championship game on, it would just be great if you could actually go and see a bunch of different games, but, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, I had some weather things that we had a big snowstorm a few years ago, and,
right,
and it staggered some of the regional championship games, so I got to go and see 2 or 3 that one week. But other than that, it's pretty much we're pretty much stuck that way with on Friday night, and then the next week, and then another Friday night, and then Tuesday, and then on the date. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the final 8 here in 1A and 2A. Let's begin with 2A. You think Wayne Hari and the Nashville Hornets cut down the nets in Peoria?
I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. The only thing about Nashville is they're not super deep. You play 7, 8 kids. It all comes down to Boltman and Parker.
Mm-hmm.
They're exceptional guards. Boltman, he impresses me every time I see him.
Yeah.
He's just so smooth and plays well, and they're both 6'5" guards. They're both long, and they can both dribble, penetrate. They can both spot up and shoot. And Coach Hari's got some unsung heroes on his team. Every team that advances this far in the playoffs they always have these people that can step up and do other things. Tristan Hercules, their point guard. You know, every time I've seen him play this year, he'll come up with a big steal, a big rebound, something like that. And, you know, Alton Marquette, I talked to one of the guys that was down there, and, you know, they tried to hold it a little bit last night, keep the score down, but, you know, you're just delaying the inevitable. Coach Medford does a great job over there at Alton Marquette, but I think that he kind of knew that he was not going to be able to run up and down the floor with them, and, you know, he did his best. I mean, that's how the score ended up being that way. But I was at the game where Nashville beat T-Town at the Benton Shootout.
Yep.
And the game was tied at halftime, 24-all, and then Nashville had a big third quarter and then a big fourth quarter, and ended up winning by 18. But you could tell by watching T-Town that they were obviously better than that, and they play a tough schedule too, obviously.
Yeah, they do.
And so I think that game will be a lot closer at SIU. Whether or not they're going to be able to beat Nashville, I'm not sure. They've got two main kids that can score. They're both 6'6", 6'7".
Right.
Dawson Smith's a senior, and Clint Weber's a senior, and you know those are their two main guys. But I believe for T-Town to win, they're going to have somebody else step up.
Yeah, and it was Weber and Smith last night.
They got
Fairfield.
40 of the 55 last night.
Yeah, against Fairfield. Yeah. Yep, they did. Well, okay, let's talk real quick about the final 8 in 1A basketball. And again, down at the arena, you're going to have Cessna against Central A&M, and then Oakville's back again. You know, they're going to be playing Concord Triopia up at Jacksonville, and then Cissna Park, who's been near the top of the rankings all year long, they're still in that final 8.
Yeah, John Krause has done a great job over there. You know, he's had a lot of great teams.
Sure.
At Oakville, but I think this year he probably did his best coaching job ever. I saw them early in the year, and they struggled when I saw them. Hillsboro beat them up to the Carlisle tournament, and he's got young guards. You got a couple sophomores. He's been playing a lot, and you know he's got the big kid Jackson Hecker in the middle, and they struggled early. I mean, they ended up, you know, they're 21-12 now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 12 losses is a lot even for the good Oakville teams, even though they play a tough schedule. But, you know, gradually they have gotten better and better and better. You know, they got a last-second shot by Will Auble to beat Marissa Coulterville in the regional championship game. And I was at the West Central game, and they just jumped all over West Central in the very beginning, and you know, that game was over basically by halftime. And then I didn't really see much about last night, but I know that they outscored Madison 20-10 in the fourth quarter to end up winning by 7.
Yeah.
And so, you know, hey, here's the Oakville Rockets back in the Super Sectional. I think this is the 4th time in 5 years they've been up there. So
yeah, that going north has worked out pretty well for them, that pathway to the north, hasn't it?
Well, my philosophy has always been that the IHSA wants that gym. You know, they got a beautiful arena.
Oh, yeah.
And really to the north of them, towards the Jacksonville Super, there's really no
gym like that.
Gym. Right. There's no gym like that. There's no gym that's really, really big enough to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Carrollton's hosted it before, and Whitehall North Green has hosted it. But I think Oakville's got a better facility. So you can just pretty much plan every other year they're going to have that sectional.
Yeah, I think you're about right. Yeah. All right. Any other observations before we let you go?
Well, I was at the Woodlawn Setzer game last night, and it did not turn out nearly as close as I thought it would. I mean, Setzer just jumped out on Woodlawn, and they played really great defense. And Seth Bowles, you know, the 6'3" senior for Setzer, he stepped up and hit big shots last night. He hit 3 consecutive threes in the second quarter, and before Woodlawn knew what was going on, they were down.
Was that a career high for him at 23 last night for Bowles?
I'm pretty sure it was. I know that he hit 4 threes, and they did a great defensive job last night on Woodlawn. Woodlawn just never got going.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those deals that game. It was a struggle for Woodlawn They just missed a bunch of early shots. And when you miss early shots and the other team's making shots, I mean, it can snowball on you in a hurry. And it did last night.
Well, it was 30-15 at half, right? 30-15 at half, I think.
It was, and it was. It could have been a lot worse than that.
Really?
No. Cesar hit pretty much everything they threw up there last night. I mean, they were 12 out of 18 in the first half, and Woodlawn was 6 out of 19 with 5 turnovers.
Wow.
And that basically that was the end of it. But I look forward to the Super Sectionals this year, and I think Peoria is going to be interesting. I tell you, somebody that I got some friends around the state. And Gibson City, Melvin Sibley, they won last night. They played in the Super.
Yes, they did.
I wouldn't sleep on them. They're supposedly a very talented team, and a lot of those kids were on the football playoff team that won the state.
Yeah,
so they know how to win, and so it should be an interesting. It should be interesting to see who gets to Peoria.
Yeah. One more thing real quick, Jack, before we let you go. We've only got a few minutes left, but the landscape's going to change quite a bit next year. In 2A basketball, you've got both the Breezes dropping down to 2A. You got Carterville and Massac and, Murfreesboro, Benton, Salem. So 2A basketball is going to change a lot, and so is 1A, as you're going to have Casey Westfield, Edwards County, Red Hill, and some others dropping down to 1A. What's your observations on some of that for next year?
Well, it's going to make things a lot more difficult on Pinckneyville and Nashville and some of these teams that have been 2A. They've been one of the the best 2As around. And anytime you bring Clinton County back into the picture, it's going to be tough because Reese Central and Mater Dei schools are always really, really talented. It's going to change quite a bit. Columbia and Freeburg are both going to be 2A next year also.
Yes.
Because of the new format and everything, Effingham St. Anthony will also be 1A next year.
Oh, okay.
And they were a junior-led team this year. They were very good, and so they're going to be. That makes things a lot different. It's a big step down for them, and we know by the way that they have had postseason success in 1A before that. They're going to be tough to deal with next year too.
Yeah,
it should be interesting.
Well, it's definitely going to be a change, no doubt about it. It'll be closer to being back to like it was in the 2A two-class system. Be closer to that anyway, at least in 2A basketball.
Well, in sheer numbers, there's going to be you're going to see more of these teams with less conference split. Heron will still be 3A. Olney will still be 3A, but pretty much the rest of them are all going to be the river to river. Ohio, 5 out of the 6 will be back there
2A
in 2A, and then in Carterville will also be 2A. And it's just a huge jump between 2A and 3A.
It is
talent-wise.
It is. It really is.
It makes it a team that would be a really, really good 2A team that have a chance to get to Peoria may have zero chance of getting out of road.
Exactly.
So.
Well, Rob Flanagan told us last week, we visited with him, Jack, and he said we're a great 2A school playing in 3A.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And there, you can make that case for a bunch of them. The Heron Tigers would probably still be playing right now if they were 2A. They would be in one of these setups right now. They would be. Well, they'd be at the SIU arena probably. Somebody would have lost to them, and it is what it is. When you go from a team that's got around, well, the cutoff this year was 547. That was Benton.
Yep.
You go from a team that's 547 that's having to play at a school that's got 1,200, 1,300 kids.
Yeah, that's right.
And Rob dealt with that last year with Champaign Central, and I think Urbana won their regional.
57-56
got 1,200 kids.
Yeah, they did. Won by 1 point.
Yeah, Urbana's got 1,200 1,200, 1,300
Sure,
teams.
sure.
So it's a big.
Well, I know Andy Fehrenbacher at Salem's thrilled to be dropping down to 2A, and so I don't think Salem's ever been down
I'm
there.
pretty sure he is.
Yeah, he is.
I think you can pretty much you can bank on that. He's pretty happy. Salem's never been there.
No, never.
Salem was always a large school.
Right.
Back in the 2-class system, they were always AA.
Yes.
So they've never had to. They've never had to. They've never had that schedule
No,
before. So
this is their first chance
We'll
at
see.
it. Yep, it's going to be fun. Jack, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Okay. And
All righty.
maybe
I'll
see you
talk
down
to
there.
you
Maybe we'll see you down there Tuesday. All right. All right. Take care.
Alrighty.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Jack Bolak from A Baseline View does a great job on that website and gets around to the gyms and sees a lot of basketball action there, Danny. So.
Yeah, he does. Jack's a very knowledgeable basketball guy, and he's right on right now.
Yeah, so we appreciate picking his brain this morning, getting some information from him. Hey, it's been a busy show, been a good one. We appreciate all of our guests, Scott McElravy, Sailor Shirts, John Krause, Shane Garner, Wayne Hari, and Jack Bolak. Anything else you want to add? We're out of time.
We're out of time. Basketball season's winding
down. State tournament will be this time next week. And so next week we'll probably shift gears towards baseball. We'll talk to a lot of the area teams on their spring sports, talk some baseball and track and field here at the high school level. And then we hope to have somebody on the show with us related to St. Louis Cardinals next week as well. We'll either have somebody from KMOX with us, or we will have perhaps Frank Cusimano from Channel 5 in St. Louis. Somebody like that will be with us next week, talk some Cardinal baseball, too. And I'm sure we'll talk about Bryce Harper then as well. All right. We're out of time, and so we're going to have to skedaddle and get out of here. Don't forget, we'll have more of positive music coming your way here in just a moment on the Sports Couch, or right after the Sports Couch, here on Positive Hits 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine. Anything else, Danny? Did we forget anything?
I think we're good.
Again, thank everybody that has watched our games this year. Amazing audience last night up at Vandalia, and just happy to have it. So thanks again for following along with us this year, and we'll before we turn around, we'll be doing it again, won't we?
It'll be another season.
All right. That's it for the Sports Couch. Have a great day, everybody, and beware of the snow on Sunday. So long.
Positive Hits 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine.
Deep within my heart, I know you've won. I know you've overcome. And even in the dark, when I'm undone, I still believe it. I live by faith and not by sight. Sometimes miracles take time. While I wait, I will worship. Lord, I'll worship your name. While I wait, I will trust you. Lord, I'll trust you all the same. understand it. I will worship with my pain. You are God, you are worthy.